guys, welcome to today's reading. So today's reading is all about your February for 2023. We're going to be talking about your emotional and mental state, as well as getting into detail about relationships and career. As you'll go through each pile, I broke up how everything was kind of shot on camera. So depending on what pile you picked, it will be day or nighttime. Right now I'm shooting this at night for the intro video. But you guys had some really interesting readings, from the relationship stuff that you guys are considering, exploring your identity, trying to be more authentic to yourself, and, pushing against any boundaries that you are facing. Just a lot of good stuff in the month of February. So it was really great energy to be reading for you guys. And I hope that you find this month's energy, I guess I can call it an energy reading. This month's energy reading helpful. As always, I try to, whenever I get the opportunity, to give some practical tools and tips, as well as some personal stories. I really like sharing personal stories with you guys. That way, if you're facing a challenge, you don't feel as alone in the challenge. I know that although you may just be experiencing it now, and oftentimes, certain experiences can be very isolating, I think a little bit of peer support can sometimes be of assistance. So I like to share my experiences with what you guys may be going through. And although it may be different, if there are any similarities, I try my best to see how we can relate together. So hope you find that helpful. So without talking you guys' ears off, I will get into the piles. So we have 4 piles for this month that you can choose from. This is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Take as long as you need to see which pile you feel drawn to for this month. And then the last thing I want to mention is, because we do have relationship and career readings, if you get to the relationship and career reading portion of your reading and you don't feel like it necessarily relates, maybe come back to this beginning and pick a different pile that you specifically feel drawn to for either career or relationship. For most piles, that won't apply, just because I feel like the messages kind of all tied in together, like the general message really spoke to what was also going on in career and relationships. But just in case, I wanted to mention that. So without further ado, I will see you guys in your piles. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your reading today. So I'm just quickly adding this into the video because I had some audio, not audio troubles, but video troubles. So what you'll see in your video is that the audio is perfectly fine, but the video I had to try and re-record in a way that was still not super boring. So if for this reading you so choose to get you a drink and use this like an audiobook, that may be helpful. But if not, I still did a recording for you guys, has some candles, some nice lighting and all of that good stuff. But I wanted to let you guys know, just in case you noticed that and you're super confused. So let's get into your reading. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. So today's reading is for the month of February 2023. We're going to be looking at what's good news for you guys in the month of February, as well as any challenges that may come up emotionally or mentally. We'll also be looking at career and relationships. So we have some cards specifically that we'll pull for those later in the reading. That'll be towards the end. But to start off, we're going to do some general messages. So around the challenges and strengths that you will be utilizing in the month to kind of get through those challenges. So let's see what you guys have for this month. Okay, so for you guys is emotional related information. The first card, I want to pull out the tarot card. So we have the 5 of Pentacles. And then what we have clarifying the 5 of Pentacles is divine, seek, and spacious. So the 5 of Pentacles usually talks about some kind of loss that you've experienced. With this being Pentacles cards, this could be like a financial loss that you've experienced. So for example, maybe you like put money into a stock and the stock didn't go as well as you hoped it would. But this doesn't just have to be money. This could just be loss in general. So, maybe you lost a pet this month, or you lost a family member, and you're, going through that experience of loss, going through that experience of grief. But the Five of Pentacles also does talk about there being help for you, there being support for you. So if you're familiar with the traditional Rider-Waite deck, you usually see there's like a few people in the card, and they're kind of going through it. It's snowing outside. It's really cold. So you really do get that sense of like them needing to get shelter, to get assistance. Um, and there's like a church in the background, usually, I believe, where, kind of like signifying that here is a place where you can get respite. Here's a place where you can um, have that sense of like rescue and safety in a time of need. So there is really here as well saying that for some of you guys, a challenge that you may be facing, emotionally, is finding it within yourself to seek out help. For some of you guys, this will be in your spirituality, in your religion, really like kind of delving into that, or maybe this for some of you guys looks like praying more often, or praying maybe not praying, but like speaking to that person that you've lost, if that's something that you guys do. For some of you guys, this is not only like seeking support and assistance, but this could also be like taking space that you need. So I feel for you guys in this pile, because like for myself, like literally just like a week ago, my family pet passed away, and so she was staying with me for the last 3 months. And so I think because we like had an opportunity to like really be one-on-one, it's kind of like hit me a bit harder. So maybe this is someone that you were really close with, and maybe you really got an opportunity to bond in a way that towards the end maybe made it hit a little bit harder. So whatever it is that you're needing to do, whether you're needing to reach out to something that feels greater than you, like God or universe, or whatever that spiritual or divine thing may be for you. This could even be nature, or seeking out support from people, organizations, groups, friends, loved ones, family members, or also taking space. So whichever of those you feel like kind of applies to you. So let's look into you guys' mental for the month of February for 2023. So we have the Magician card in reverse. We have gentle, visible, ritual, and then we also have manifest. And I actually want to organize these a little bit differently, because I feel like the manifest card really speaks to what the Magician card kind of stands for, and having tools at your disposal. So I think for some of you guys, this may really be needing to reach into whatever like mental health related tools you guys have, whatever mental health skills you guys have already developed, or looking this month and saying like, what are some tools or skills I might want to develop. For a lot of us, grief is a very difficult emotion to deal with. Um, and so really just kind of like figuring out um, how do you kind of experience and deal with grief in a way that feels very compassionate and gentle for you, a way that feels really really in line with what you're needing. I think a lot of these skills usually we don't know like intrinsically. So for I think the best way to describe it is like when I've gone through like therapy or been to like therapeutic group settings, I remember a lot of the like counselors or professionals saying that sometimes we experience something in life and we don't yet have the skills because we haven't had an opportunity to learn them. So I think that may be some of what you guys are experiencing this month in February 2023, where you're figuring out which skills you need to kind of draw on. And if you feel like there's something that you're experiencing and you don't have a skill to draw on it, kind of finding a way to discover some of those things. So, so yeah, hopefully that is making sense, I guess, as I'm trying my best to explain it here. And I definitely want to mention as well that, with the Magician card here in reverse for the mental portion of this reading for February, the Magician in the upright usually talks about having all the tools, all the skills that you need to achieve a specific goal, or to like achieve a specific goal. And so, because it's in reverse, it is really kind of mirroring what we're talking about here of needing to find those things. It's in reverse, so we don't yet have all of what we need. We may have some of what we need, but we don't have everything that we may need. So maybe you're feeling like, okay, I have hobbies or I have a support group, but maybe there's something else that you want to add to that. Maybe you want to add therapy to that. Maybe you want to add an emotional support animal to that. Maybe you want to add more consistent sleep schedule, or maybe like some self care habits around like maybe you like add a loofah to your shower routine, or like change the soap that you use because it has a nice smell and it really relaxes you in the morning and before bed. Do you kind of get my drift? Like, there's something here, and like, there's a million and one things, right, that this could be. It's unique to you guys. So, don't feel limited in what this thing is. Or, like, if it involves people, don't feel limited in what that may look like. But yeah, really talking about taking steps to create what it is, that you're needing. I want to mention with this visible card here, I feel like some of you guys in this pile may have some hesitance about letting the people in your support group, letting the people that you already trust, who really love and care about you, letting them know that you're struggling. I want to say that because this card is here, there is an essence in this month of needing to, as you feel comfortable pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. I think one of the skills that you guys are going to be learning in 2023 in general, but definitely in February of 2023, is adding to that toolkit, asking for support. Like, that is a tool in and of itself. And so I think that this month you're really trying to balance not only the skill of taking space when you need it, but recognizing when you need to step out of that isolation and ask for support, and not be alone in a given moment. So there's a lot that you guys are doing in the month of February, but you guys are doing it, right? So I'm proud of you guys for doing that. All right, so let's see what other cards you guys have this month. We have some oracle cards. So we have Mars, Force, and we have Personal Power. So Mars Force energy is definitely pointing out for you guys that there is a need to take action. So again, like, this is mirroring what we're talking about with, okay, we may mentally recognize that there is a need, there is a skill that we need to develop, and then taking the action that you need in order to develop that skill or practice that skill. Maybe there's a skill that you come across and you try it out and you say, hey, this isn't as helpful as I hoped it would be, or there's something that I want to adjust, or maybe I just want to try something new entirely. It's definitely okay in the process to come across something, try it out, and in that trying out, figuring out that it's not for you, and then trying something else. But you're definitely improving your sense of personal power in February by doing these things. I definitely feel like you guys get a better sense of feeling capable of handling unpleasant emotions. I think that's the best way I can describe it. There's a feeling here of moving from feeling incapable of dealing with difficult things to feeling a little bit more capable, right? So I think that from the beginning of February to the end of February, this isn't going to be like, 0 to 100, like, okay, like there's no challenge at all with this after February. I think for many things, including, adding tools to our toolkit, there's always something that can be adjusted or added to, or even to like it being very cyclical. Like for myself, for example, I have a lot of different hobbies that I kind of have added to my toolkit. But I'm not always doing all of them at the same time. Like, I like to knit, I like to read books, I like to listen to music, I like to watch TV, I like to do tarot. But I'm not always actively doing those things. Like, my knitting stuff have been sitting for maybe like a month now to the side, and I'm okay with that because I don't need knitting right now, or I'm not yearning to be doing knitting right now simply for fun. But there's other things that I've been doing, like reading more books, like fantasy novels and romance novels, and that's sort of my thing. So I think you guys are also kind of experiencing that as well, and adding stuff to your toolkit and kind of like rotating them out, seeing what you feel like you want to do in the moment, and that really making you feel more secure, more capable emotionally and mentally, more secure also emotionally and mentally. All right, so let's see what we have for career messages. So I went ahead and took the liberty of pulling cards ahead of time. So we have two cards for you guys this pile. We have TikTok, and so we'll read the direct messages because I feel like there are two separate groups within pile one for career messages if that's something that you're looking forward to in the month of February. So let me grab the book for that. We'll read it straight out, and then you can just pick which one you feel like resonates most with you. All right, so this one is 30. All right, awesome. 1 second, almost there. Okay, great. All right, so the general meaning is timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. And the prosperity message is your prosperity is co created by your endeavors as they occur in human made time and the eternal efforts of your most important manifestation partner, spirit, and a divine, measureless time. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive and make a commitment to remain in high vibration thoughts and feelings. If you heed the message of this card, it will seem as if you will align with your highest calling and your highest good in no time at all. Like magic. So what's all the fuss about having enough time? The prosperous life that is yours will never pass you by. So for this card, for those of you who resonate with this card is kind of like in line with the Mars energy. As long as you keep making tiny steps, keep moving forward, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to be like making progress in whatever this thing is. This could just mean also like making time for rest. That way, when it is time to do that next step, you're rejuvenated and refreshed and have the energy to take that next step. All right, and then for community, the essential meaning is belonging, being seen and understood by others, like minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. And for the career prosperity message, we have whenever you're in a community of like minded others, there is a powerful opportunity to reap great abundance. It's essential to ask, what can I contribute? Rather than what can I get from this? Figure out a need and look to fill it. Something meaningful will manifest. Even if that manifest is small, it is a sign that the doors of opportunity will swing open wider. There is also another meaning of this card to consider. Don't try to be all things to all people. Choose your role and be true to it, and serve from a sense of authenticity. There is no greater feeling of accomplishment than knowing you have purpose. And so, for you guys here, this is really figuring out what your niche is in career and work and money. Like figuring out who are the people that you're trying to talk to, who are the people that you're trying to reach, and really leaning into that. So while we may take some opportunities to look at competitors and see what they're doing, so that we can get a better sense of how we can better reach our targeted audience. This is just a reminder here to say that not to lose sight of who your target audience is. Um, so yeah, I love these messages for you guys. These are your career messages. So let's transition into relationships. So I'm just gonna clear the space here. That way we have some more room for the next cards, and that way also it doesn't seem too crowded for you guys here, because I know we have quite a few cards already on the camera. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let's start with, I want to start with a tarot card. That's what we'll start with for your relationship reading. All right, so we have the Chariot. And let's clarify, what card do we want to clarify? Let's clarify the Tower here for pile 1. Okay. Core values and leaving space. Okay, so this is what I'm getting for you guys so far. What I'm getting is that, sorry, the chair's like squeaking. I'm trying to like reorganize, so I'm a little bit more comfortable. Okay. So what I'm getting with the Chariot card here is that there's some forward movement in the sense of like financial gain, because this is primarily pentacle energy for you guys. So with the Tower, there is some type of change that takes place. But it feels like a change that was, number one, needed, and number two, unavoidable. So maybe, you know, there is a job that you work in and you get a promotion, and that promotion was unavoidable because you're such a good worker, right? But I also do get the sense that whatever this financial thing is, if you are, I mean, obviously, most likely, not obviously, but most likely, if you're, you know, focusing in on this relationship portion, you may be in a relationship already. And so within this relationship, there may be this sense that something is changing in the relationship because you're needing to focus more time on career, on money, on what is like really important to you right now, so that you have a sense of financial stability within this relationship, and not so much a sense of financial stability within this person, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like leaving space for you to get financially secure, because I think that for you guys, that is a really important value of yours, and maybe it's not something that you've been able to really live out in the way that you've wanted to. And so the Tower card is kind of like coming in here as an opportunity for you to actually do that thing. Yeah. Money issues, as I think really just it says here, fighting over money, heal root chakra, lack of trust, fear, and safety, security, survival, control. And I think the survival, security, safety is a lot of what is talking about here. Like really just needing to make sure that you're secure. I think mentally you guys are really needing to make sure that that you feel like if anything were to happen in a connection, that you're good. Like, okay, for example, say you live with someone, you may be wanting to make sure that you have really good savings, so that if things were to get rocky, or if you were to decide that you want to leave a relationship, that you're not stuck having to stay in a place that you feel like is no longer meant for you. Okay, we have here missed opportunity, regret from former relationship, don't run if it feels right, risk of loss, communication is imperative. Maybe I think this card may be speaking to the other person in this dynamic. Maybe they're worried that in you seeking some type of financial independence, that means that you're wanting to leave, or you're not happy in a space. For each of you guys, this will be different, but you can communicate. Maybe there's like a need here to communicate to your partner where this desire comes from, or we have core values here, so maybe there's just a need to tell them, like, hey, like, this has always been something that's been important to me. This is a value of mine, and this is just me making sure that I stick true to that value. Exclusive, GF, BF, commitment, possible marriage material or life partner, not dating other people. So yeah, definitely for many of you guys, this is a person that, you really do care for them, you really do love them, but you also are loving yourself in the month of February and really making sure that you're also taken care of, because you matter just as much as any person that you're dating, if not more. Because if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't fill your own cup, you really don't have anything to give from. And also, too, if you're worried about like financial security and things like that, it's really hard to allow yourself to kind of like unwind and be vulnerable, I think, in the degree that you may want to, because in the back of your mind, you're worried about certain things. And so I think allowing yourselves to act in a way where you really give yourself a better sense of security will be really good for you guys. Anything else for pile one? Anything else? Okay. Actually, I do feel like any final messages for pile one regarding relationships. All right, none for relationships. Anything just in general. Any like final message? Okay, final message. Oh, a lot came out. So I'm not gonna take all of the cards just because it's a lot of cards. So let's see. I want to turn these and then just give the deck an opportunity. You guys, like, please don't be mad at me because I'm like so anal about moving the cards and having them perfect. Okay, here we go. We got total connection. Okay, total connection came out. All right, like-minded, resonance and intimacy, compatibility. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, what is that? That was not even a word. Compatible personality types, healthy attachment styles. So, again, I think final message is like, this is a relationship I think that you guys really like. You guys, both people want to make sure that, not nothing goes wrong, in the sense of like, is this person trying to leave, or, just like the normal worries you have. You love someone, you care about someone so much that, there is a risk of losing that person. And so, in February, you guys may be having just a conversation saying like, hey, I love you too, and I really want to be here, and, this is the reason I want to do this, and, letting that be okay. That's important to you guys. So this is what we have for you guys for February 2023. All right, so thank you again for being here for your February 2023 reading, and I will see you guys in the next reading. All right, bye, pile one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hi, pile two. Welcome to today's reading. We're going to be looking at what's good news for you guys in the month of February, as well as some challenges that may come up emotionally or mentally. We'll also be looking into career and relationship towards the end of the reading, so that if you're interested in any of those things in specific, oh my goodness, in specific, you can take the time to look at that towards the end of your reading as well. All right, so let's get into it. So we have some tarot cards, some other cards that have already been pulled, and then we'll also pull some cards together on the camera. So we have the Knight of Wands for your emotional state, what's going on emotionally for you in the month of February. And then we have the Hangman in reverse for what is going on for you guys mentally. So before we dive into these cards, let's just get some clarifying oracle cards. All right, so for pile 2 for the month of February, can we get some more cards for their emotional well-being, their emotional state? Okay. All right, we'll start with these two. So you guys have awake and safe. Okay. So with the Knight of Wands here and these oracle cards, it feels like there's something that you feel primed, not primed, but like something that you want to either move forward with, or you have a lot of like pent up energy that you feel like you could be using for something, and you just kind of don't know where to use that energy or where to place that energy. Um, but I want to get some clarifying cards for the Hanged Man here. We have flow, we have trust. All right, can we get another clarifier for the Knight of Wands? All right, we got this for the Hanged Man. All right, so let's see. Either how to get this thing done. You may not be clear on what specifically this thing is that you want to do. Maybe you haven't been able to put words to what this thing is. Maybe you haven't been able to say like, oh, this is an identity crisis, or oh, this is me wanting to recreate my style. Like maybe you're not yet aware of like what this feeling is, what this gap in feeling is. So it's kind of, I think that's why this reading kind of feels confusing, because it's like a dichotomy between having this energy of wanting to do something and feeling ready to do something, while also not quite knowing what it is you want to do. And so I think that you guys are in a space where you recognize where it is that you've come from. So maybe, you know, something emotionally like was very taxing prior to this moment. Like maybe you had to fight against people who were telling you that, you know, oh, that's like weird, like that's not cool, like, you know, maybe in terms of like dress or like style or music. And you kind of had to like fight through those feelings. Um, and I'm like seeing here this peek through Warrior. But I think that you guys also recognize that like you're enough, right? Like whatever this is that you have wanted to do and haven't done because of like naysayers, I think you've gotten to the point where you're like, I'm gonna do this anyway. But what this looks like may not be quite clear. And so I think that that's why the indecision is coming in. Um, but guess what? Like you know yourself best. So I think in this instance, for some of you guys, um, letting yourself um, guide you, right? So maybe in the past you felt like you couldn't allow yourself to um, go off and like participate in the things that you wanted to participate in. And so now you're kind of getting to this stage in life, or working up to getting to the stage in life where um, you can really really escape the expectations and some of the pressures of what people would have you to look like, have you to behave like, have you to dress like, whatever, you know, that thing is that other people may have you to be like, and then finally be in a space to say, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to look like. This is how I want to act. These are the things that are my morals, my values. You know, maybe for some of you guys, people have tried to convince you that you wanted something that you really didn't want. And at one point in time, you felt clear on what that thing was, but because of outside voices, outside naysayers, over time, kind of trying to drill something else into your head, it made it really hard for you to remember that initial thing that you wanted. So, for example, um, maybe you guys felt like you were a tender soul. This is an example, right? Maybe you felt like you're a really gentle person and people told you that, like, oh, you're too sensitive, oh, you're too soft, oh, this or that. And over time, you kind of adapted your personality in a way where you wouldn't receive so much criticism from the people who were telling you these things. And maybe over time, you felt like you lost yourself in that process. And so you're finally at this point where you're feeling really self motivated, really feeling more able to say, like, no, that's not true, that's not me. I'm going to, not change, because this doesn't feel like a it doesn't feel like a change, because it feels like this has always been you. You just haven't been able to live it out, I think, in the way that you've been wanting to. So there's definitely a huge letting go of what other people's expectations and beliefs of you have been. So emotionally feeling primed and ready, but mentally really feeling indecisive, because what does this kind of look like? I'm feeling like I want to do something and I don't know what this looks like. So what may be helpful is to try and think of um, what feels like authentic to you, I guess. Like maybe when you're like out and about and you see um people wearing certain clothes, or certain hairstyles, or certain shoes, or like if you're like watching stuff on social media, and that stuff can kind of like remind you of what you like. Like maybe you come across some content on YouTube and they're doing like emo makeup or goth makeup or um, boho dress, or whatever that is, and you look at it and you're like, that's it. That's the thing that clicks with this like pent up energy I have inside that I want to express in my dress style. It's boho, it's this, it's that. I think that's what you guys are kind of needing to kind of like um break down this kind of like confusing pent up energy. That's the best way I can describe it. Oh my gosh. um so we have chakra cards here. I always like to add these chakra cards to the reading, because I know that some of you guys who come across these videos may be into yoga, maybe into chakra work. And so I do like to leave these here for you guys, just in case if you feel like it's helpful. But if that's not something you're into, don't feel pressured to get into it just because it's in the reading. I really just want to, you know, try and tailor to as many people as possible during these readings. So, but also to the keywords kind of help me to add to the general message. So we have grounding and we have soul healing. So I think for you guys in the month of February, the soul healing card really talks about feeling more in line with yourself this month. And that really feeling healing in a sense. Like, I think you guys probably are familiar with the feeling of maybe not all of you, but at least for some of you, like a feeling of like detachment or emptiness from yourself, because you don't feel like you've been able to live authentically. And so I think in February, getting to a point where you're like, I'm not, I'm not gonna live inauthentically anymore. And just really trying to figure out what authentic looks like for you. But that's also grounding, right? Because in feeling disconnected from self, I guess in some ways we could definitely describe that as being ungrounded, like because we're not connected, we're detached, um, disassociated, because we're not feeling like we can live the life we want, and so it's like we just kind of float through life instead of getting to experience it in the way we'd like to. So yeah, so definitely like experiencing something that feels like emotionally, mentally healing, but also like getting to feel more comfortable in your body, which could be explained, maybe for some as being more grounded. All right, guys, so let's move on to career for pile two. For those of you who want a message, this will just be a card. We'll read straight out the book. That way, you guys can take it for what you need. If we need to clarify, we definitely will. All right. So, what is the message for you guys? You guys have orphaned for your career message. Alright, let's pull out the book real quick. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so let's read it from the book here. This card reminds you that you can't be all things to all people. You are not going to be popular with everyone, and that has to be okay with you. Be clear about your mission, your brand, your work persona, and your contribution to the world, as these must be based on what you authentically have to offer, not something you think will sell or you're perceived they may want. You will attract abundance by being completely yourself. Stay in your own lane. That's where you will shine and where you'll experience prosperity. So this makes a lot of sense, right? In regards to career message for you guys' pile in specific, because for the month of February, you guys are dealing with um, trying to figure out how to live more authentically. And so when this kind of bleeds into work and career, it's really just a message to say that you maybe finding that because this is like a general air, sort of like a general theme that you're working on, that it'll also affect careers. I'm interested to see if this will also impact relationship in a way, but at least with career, you know that you may want to be mindful of um, how how you kind of um, go about the work that you do so that it does feel like it clicks with you. Maybe you guys are like reconsidering what work you want to do or how you want to go about doing that work, just so that it feels more in line with yourself. So um, I'll leave that as is. That way I don't get too extra with the messages. So let's clear off the table here. And then we will get into you guys' relationship reading. So let's do one step relationship card. Alright, and then some clarifiers. Alright, we'll do the clarifiers after we read this actually. Fork in the road. Okay. And then we'll also do this from the book because I wanna get like a base message that's like very clear and concise for you guys. So the reverse meaning says, indecision is extremely frustrating and will lead to anxiety, loss, and confusion. At this junction, you can't remain in place without losing your way altogether. Avoid the tendency to let others choose for you, which amounts to a subtle refusal to take responsibility. Don't give your power away, not even to this oracle. By not making a choice, you are making a choice, for which you must be accountable. If that choice leads to undesirable circumstances, take heart. Spirit never tries giving you second chances. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Spirit never tires of giving you second chances. You can always start again once you've learned this valuable lesson. All right. And then the relationship meaning says, you've reached a moment of truth in the evolution of your relationship. Which will you choose? To open up to the possibility of love, or to remain isolated, to go deeper and commit to mutual passion, or to walk away? This is a time to take responsibility for your truest desire and follow it. Be honest with yourself about what you're willing to do, invest and give, then choose. You cannot make a wrong choice. If you move forward with a relationship, know that it will be based in truth and authenticity. Wow, weren't we literally talking about that all reading? You will have made a conscious decision rather than simply hanging on because you don't want to be alone, or ending things because you're afraid of the intensity of genuine connection. All roads lead to the lessons you must learn in your relationships. Regardless of the decision you make, it will place you on the path to a truer experience of the heart. So maybe for you guys this month, because you're finally getting to a space where you are digging into your authenticity, figuring out what feels like you, what doesn't feel like you may be reconsidering some of the relationships in your life. So this doesn't have to just be romantic relationships. Maybe your romantic relationship is in line with your authentic self, and maybe some of your friendships aren't. Maybe you're reevaluating some of your family relationships and feel like you need to have conversations with them. So this could be anything, coworker relationships, anything regarding relationships in general. But there's definitely a sense here that because you are changing, because you are figuring out who you are as a person and really like expressing that, that some of the relationships are changing. So some of the cards flipped here. I'm just trying to figure out which one it was. We'll find it. I know I saw it. Okay. It was these three. Alright, so we have the escape artist, may sabotage, and to avoid hurt, afraid to be loved, still looking, don't run when it gets real. So I think this relates honestly to this card here. Like, you may find yourself needing to make a really difficult decision. And instead of, I think regarding the card that we took off of the camera here, but the hangman in reverse, that card really being about indecision mentally, that general message really bleeding into the relationship message as well. Like, you may find that in February you have to make these really hard decisions by maybe saying, like, do I stay in this relationship if it doesn't feel authentic and doesn't feel in line with who I am moving as in a person, or do I stay here and stay unhappy? Or saying to yourself, like, all right, I feel like a hard conversation needs to be had. Do I say something or do I not say something and risk, creating an environment that doesn't feel healthy for me? And I really didn't even give us a chance to see if this relationship could have evolved while I evolve as a person. That sort of thing. Mr. or Miss Fix It. Don't try to fix others. Heal yourself to attract best partner. People pleasing. Trust the process. So yeah, like definitely, really like how. Oh wow, I feel like these are like really mirroring this card really well. But just how Fork in the Road talks about trusting the process, like knowing that whatever happens when you decide to be authentic to yourself, like I know that oftentimes when we think of making decisions that will lead in most likely or possibly having to deal with unpleasant emotions, it's really easy for us to try to avoid that. And I like 100%, 1,000% understand that. Been there, definitely done that. It's hard. Like I can remember one of my relationships where I think similarly to you guys, I got into a relationship having an idea of like the style of relationship that is a good fit for me. Some idea of like my sexuality. But I think as the relationship kind of went on, because those things were not traditional, I think, or not mainstream. But the other person, some of what they wanted was more traditional, and so I think the mismatch really just made it difficult to feel like we melded together well, and I think I kind of built up a bit of resentment in the relationship because I just wasn't as happy in a dynamic that didn't feel authentic to me. But the reason why it got to feeling resentful or feeling really unhappy was because I was so afraid of leaving. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of having to grieve the loss of a relationship that I had been in for a while. I was afraid of losing the other person because I did like them. I think we just weren't a good match. And so I understand why some of you guys in this pile don't want to maybe look at some of the hard decisions that you may have to make, or may not yet feel ready, right? Because although we may be talking about this right now, that doesn't mean that you are in the stage of decision making where you feel ready to make that choice, right? I'm not here to say or here to tell you that like now is the time. No, like I love doing these readings. I love connecting with you guys. That way we can talk about what's going on, what's bothering you guys, what's challenging for you guys right now. But the timing, you guys know the timing, right? Like the timing isn't now just because you're watching the video now. You guys know when's right for you. You guys know what is right for you, right? When and what. So yeah, I know I'm like talking you guys' ear off, but I I get it. So it's not easy. So here it says missing you, so sad, lonely or alone, physical separation, let go and move on, thinking of each other. Um yeah, like I don't I don't think I can clarify something so clear. Um for some of you guys, yeah, this it's like that fear of like being alone, fear of having to experience the sadness and grief of leaving, um, feeling the physical separation, the difficulty in actually having to act out the choice of leaving. That's hard too. Like, it's easy to say, oh, like, you should leave. Or, you know, like how friends, like, tell you, like, oh, you should leave. Like, yeah, easier said than done, right? Like, and so maybe some of you guys are experiencing that. And also too, just like after you leave, if you know you guys watching this have already left, you still think about the person sometimes, right? Like we don't always, or I don't want to say always, but maybe like the large majority of us do not have a magical ability right, to just like wipe the mind clear of this person and move forward like this relationship ever happened, especially when you know we really do care about the person, we really do love the person, but we just know it's not a good fit anymore. Or maybe it was never a good fit and we you know generally still care about the person, but we just know like this isn't the place for me. That is what I am getting for you guys in regards to relationships. So I hope that you guys found this reading helpful. It definitely sounds like you guys are doing really big work this month. Um, really big work, and I'm sure, as with most readings that we do, this will bleed into you know future months as well. So I'm definitely excited to see the work that you guys end up doing throughout the month of February and moving forward. If you felt like this reading applied, please feel free to leave a comment in the section. I'd love to know how this applied. Was this like heavier for you in regards to like personal, like interpersonal work? Interpersonal, is that the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, the work that you do like within yourself. Did it feel like specific to that? Did it feel specific to relationships? Did it feel specific to careers? I'm definitely curious. So thanks again for being here, and I will see you guys in the next reading. Bye, Pile 2. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading today. So today we're going to be talking about or looking at what's good news for you in the month of February. as well as any challenges that may come up emotionally or mentally. We're also going to be looking into career and relationships toward the end of the reading, so that if you would like a more in-depth look at career or relationships, you can do that in this reading as well. So we have some cards here that are pre-drawn. We'll also pull some cards together on screen. So to start off, we have 10 of Pentacles. This is the top row for your emotional during the month of February. The clarifying cards we have Whole, Solitude, Divine, Brave, and Seek. Let me pull out all of the cards that we have, because I feel like having the whole picture will kind of help a bit in today's reading. I know it's a bit much sometimes to see so many cards at once, but just bear with me for a while. Okay, so usually I'd like to read these tarot card readings for what they usually mean, but I keep hearing wolf in sheep's clothing. Like, it just repeat, repeat, repeat. Like, I can't get past that phrase. So we're gonna discard like the normal meaning for this card and kind of go with what we're just picking up. So I actually want to use, because I feel like obviously if it's wolf in sheep's clothing, we're most likely dealing with a person that is involved in some way. So let's just pull out the relationship cards now. All right, so we have total connection, and we also have the real deal. Okay, this is what I'm getting. So this is going to be like together. I think your general and your relationship meaning are really kind of tied in together. I feel like you're dealing with a person who knows. I think you, for yourself, you're looking for a connection, right? You're looking for a partnership. You're looking for something that's a real deal. I think that this other person can tell that you are looking for the real deal. You're looking for a partner, and they are acting out what it is I think that you have made clear that you're looking for. So maybe you have done some work to really figure out, like, I want someone who wants kids. I want someone who values this. I want someone who does this. And this person is like playing the part. They're trying to be the whole package that you're looking for. And I think that because of this, I think this person has made, I don't know, like, this is something about their face in this card. Like, I've never looked at this card and been like, I don't know, something about it makes me just feel like it's conniving. Like, but it's not something that I think is physically seen. I think it's something that's felt out. Like, you gotta, not you as in you, but like, I think it's something that you have to almost like disconnect from, in a sense, to be able to finally feel it. Because I don't think it's something that you see first. I think it's something you feel first, see second. Does that make sense? And I think that's why the Solitude and Divine card is here, because it's something that is a gut feeling. I think you guys are really needing to draw on your gut feeling to figure this out. Let me see. Can we get other clarifier cards? Fake profile. Wow. Y'all. Fake profile. All right. Let me not be hyped, because I'm trying to calm down, because it's like the sister part of me want to be like, see girl, see girl. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I have to calm down, because We're talking about something that deals with your feelings, y'all, and this is, not always easy stuff that we talk about, and so, you know, I want to be considerate of the fact that, you may have feelings that come up during this reading. But fake profile, liar, scammer, creeper alert, do a background check, not genuinely interested, not who you think. Girl, the background check part, let me tell you, I have a friend and she did a background check of somebody recently, and little did she know, but she did the background check and was very glad that she did. So I'm not telling y'all, you have to do a background check. But if you was already thinking about that and here it is on the reading, maybe you needed that confirmation. Fake profile though. Fake profile though. So if it's not something that you've considered, maybe this isn't your pile. But I usually like to do these readings as confirmation. So if you're coming to this reading and this is confirmation of something that you've been like feeling, all right, then this may be the message for you. That way you can be like, all right, I'm not crazy. I can trust my gut instinct. What's going on here? And I think because of the fact that it's really like murky, like this person seems to do a really good job at like pretending, of acting. Like this reminds me of a type of person where they will do dishes, do laundry, give you a back massage, give you a foot massage, ask you like every time you come home from work, babe, how are you doing? Um, how was your day? But for some reason, you have like this really weird gut feeling like this is an act. Like, this is an act to get me to commit. This is an act to get me to marry them. That is a type of like, and I'm not saying that this person is pretending to get you to marry them, but like, do you get the essence of like that example? This is what this kind of feels like. Like, there's some sense of like what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're portraying is just not who they really are. Like there's definitely a difference I think that this reading wants to pick up on somebody who does those things because they genuinely care about being a helpful partner, genuinely care about, stepping up and participating and not leaving all of the burden for the other person versus a person who knows that that's something that you value, so they do it. But once you marry that person, what they actually value becomes to be what they do. So maybe it's like they pretend to be that partner who values an interdependent relationship that looks a specific way, but when they marry you, they expect you to like quit your job and stay at home and raise the kids. But maybe that's not something that you wanted to do. Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you wanted to be the stay-at-home mom who gets to raise the kids, but they, pretended that that's what they wanted of you. And then when you get married, they want you to get a job and they want to be the stay-at-home parent. Or, it's just something, it's like they're almost pretending to be opposite of what it is of they oh my gosh, sorry. I'm trying to get my words together. They're doing the opposite of what they really value. That's what I want to say here. Okay. We have physical intimacy. The topic is up for discussion. Choose healthy slash balanced relationships, doing it for the right reasons. Yeah, maybe for some of you guys are like connected. Like maybe this is like a passionate relationship. Maybe like sex is really good with this person. Sorry to be so frank, but like maybe sex is like good with this person, and so it's kind of hard to disconnect. So maybe for some of you guys, this is only a suggestion. You know what's best for you, but maybe if it's easier for you to get a better sense of this person if you're not sleeping with them, maybe that's something that you may consider. Or maybe something that gives the same essence of separating a little bit emotionally. I'm trying to think of a really good example of like the essence of what I'm trying to say with that sentence. Okay, maybe if you feel like you see this person 7 days a week, and it would be easier for you to like see them for like 2 weeks, just 4 days out of the week. That way you can get a feeling of what it feels like to not be around this person, or so that you can get a feel for what it feels like to be around this person after not being around them for a couple of days, so you can almost like um, give yourself the opportunity to feel them out with your gut instinct, right? Because maybe being around the person 24/7 has made it really hard for you to feel them out. And so getting some sense of separation would allow you to better do that. I hope that makes sense. So, yeah, um, let's do the career reading, since we kind of knocked out the general and relationship part together. And I also want to just give you guys the other oracle cards. So actually, let's do that first. So, the chakra cards, I like to put these in the reading. Not because I want you guys to like look into chakra work or energy work, anything like that. This is more so for if you're part of these readings, a part of this community, and that's something that you're already interested in. I want to make sure I tailor these readings to you guys as well. So we have visualization, which would be for the third eye chakra, and then listening for the not root, but throat chakra. So I think the visualization card is really just talking about like, maybe for you guys who are into energy work, maybe you want to like work on your third eye chakra so that you can see this person for who they really are. Throat chakra listening. I want to say, yeah, hearing what they say, right? Like, for example, if you're with this person, say like you guys are hanging out, they're telling you one thing, right? But what are they saying to their friends when they talk to them on the phone? What are they saying to their family when they talk to them on the phone? What are they saying to coworkers? What are they saying to strangers? Does what they tell you about themselves line up with what they do all the other times, right? So for example, maybe you like when you were dating this person, you're like, it's really important to me that the person I'm dating is respectful, right? So maybe they respect you, but when you guys go out, on dates to eat or whatever, they're really rude to wait staff. Maybe they are really rude to their parents who treat them really well. Maybe they're really rude to friends. Whatever that may be. It just is something here, like the just general energy is like something just doesn't match up. So what are they telling you versus what do they actually do? And listening, like not just hearing it, but listening and really taking heart and being like, those things show for your character. It was a video I was watching recently that was saying like, I don't just want your words and I don't just want your actions. I want your words and actions. Like, I want you to I want you to act in the same way that you say you're going to act, right? Like, don't tell me that you love me and you care about me, but you treat me like shit with your words. Or don't tell me with your words that you love me and you care about me and you want to participate in this relationship, but you expect me to do all the laundry, all the dishes, all the cooking, all the chores, work. You know what I mean? Like that sort of energy. This is the sort of energy I feel like with you guys' reading. All right, 35, we have the 11th house. Oh my gosh, 11th house friends. And then we also have earth element stability. Okay, so maybe you guys were friends first. What I get from this though is they may see you like inside, they may see you like a friend, but they treat you pretendingly like a partner, but you're looking for stability, right? So you are really looking for someone who um is both actions and words. They know what they want because I feel like you guys have some sense of an idea of what you want. The reason why I say some sense of an idea of what you want is because I feel like part of the purpose of this relationship is to help you clarify that even more, right? I think like once we start to really understand what we want in a relationship, there some not no, I don't want to say people come and like test that out. No, that's not what I want to say, but more so just because we know what we want doesn't necessarily mean that the next person we meet will fit the bill. That's what I want to say. Like, so you guys may know what you want, and now you're like in a space of navigating, when have I met the person that fits that, like who genuinely fits that. That's what this feels like. All right, co-create is your final message, and we'll read that straight out of the book, okay? So the book is right here. That's 40, 34. Okay, 40. I like skipped it. Okay, here we go. The main message is creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, and manifestation. Okay, relationship message. You know what, actually, I want to look at the protection message because that's what keeps going through my mind. Um, The protection message says, you are trying too hard to create all that you desire without the nurturing vital force of spirit. Perhaps you are in a creative slump, suffering writer's block, facing a monumental task, but unable to decide on your first step. So you just avoid doing anything. Does the word overwhelmed apply to you right now? Why do you think it has come down to you? Inspiration means the drawing in of divine guidance. You must tap into spirit, not simply yourself. Ask spirit for inspiration. Two minds are greater than one, so co-create with your divine partner. Reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way. Okay. This card for me just means you and your gut feeling, you and whatever you consider to make up your intuition, right? Like you and your gut feeling working together to say, what is this relationship for me? Is this relationship what I'm looking for? Is this person being authentic with me? Sorry guys, I didn't realize someone was vacuuming, so I apologize if you heard that in the video. But yeah, like just co-creating with yourself, like working with yourself. I think um in the month of February for you guys, there may be this yeah, because if you see these cards here, I want to bring attention to these cards here real quick. We have action, open, and guided, okay? So I feel like you guys may be having some difficulty with taking action regarding this, or, you know, maybe with other things in life, if that's what you feel like as well. But I think it's because you guys really need to find a way to integrate, or to even just maybe just to trust, or for some to seek out that gut feeling. Um, you know, this could be a lot of different things regarding gut feelings. Maybe like not trusting it, maybe not feeling tapped into it, maybe not feeling, you know, connected, whatever the case may be. But there's something here about really needing to connect to that gut feeling. That way you can notice these things before you get to a point where you're feeling very confused because you don't really have like a radar for what you can't physically see. So like in this situation, you can't physically see the lie because, well, they would have to like physically do something that is like way out of character for you to pick up that they're not being authentic with you. But if you feel connected to your intuition and say this a situation like this arises from the jump, like day one, minute one, hour one, you would just be like, I'm not really feeling it. You don't really have a reason why. You don't really have an explanation as to why you're not feeling it. You're just not feeling it. And so you keep it pushing. So I think that's what you guys are kind of working on in the month of February. Having that ability in the future to just not be feeling it, or to be feeling it. You meet someone, you don't really know them, and you're like, you know what, I'm feeling a vibe here. Let me see what's going on. And it's a gut feeling that you feel like you can trust. All right. So that's what you guys are working on in February. Um, Career. I want to although we did the protection message for this one, because I wanted to do the protection message to tie it into this total one. But let's see if because I may just pull a different card for you guys for the career. Let's see. I'll know in a second. All right, so the career message for this pile, for this card, says, flashes of inspiration give rise to great success when you receive this message. You are at your most creative now, and whatever you apply yourself to will lead to the fruition of your dreams. Remember that all your ideas are channeled from a higher source. You create your reality in partnership with spirit. The potential for manifestation is unlimited now. Revel in its vastness. So, in the same way where you guys are really learning how to trust your gut instinct, you'll be able to do the same thing in career. So, if you feel like in career and money and jobs and, what you love to do, that has been something that isn't present. Oftentimes, we do find that, like, what is in the general message bleeds into relationships, bleeds into career, bleeds into money. So, just know that whatever work you end up doing on feeling more connected to that gut instinct is going to translate into work and into career, so that you can trust the decisions that you make, or trust any moves you decide to make. Like maybe because you feel more tapped into your gut instincts after February, you decide to make a change or an adjustment in regards to work. So yes, this is what I see for you guys in pile three. So thank you for being here. Thanks for allowing me to share this message. And as always, if you guys feel comfortable and would like to let me know how this applies to you, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I definitely would love to know how this applies. But if not, that's totally fine. And I will see you guys in the next reading. Bye, pile three. Hi, pile four. Welcome to your reading today. So we're going to be looking at what is good news for you in the month of February, as well as any challenges that may come up emotionally or mentally. We're also going to look into career and relationships. So for you guys' pile, as you can see, I've already drawn the tarot cards and some of the oracle cards. We will be pulling more cards together on camera. But this reading for you guys, the relationship really strongly ties into your general message. So we've just blended those two aspects together, and then we'll just make sure that we address the career at the end of the reading, okay? So let's get started. So we have for this top portion, which is for your emotions, emotional state, we have let me make sure I'm seeing this right. Yep, Nine of Cups in reverse. And we have manifest. And then I tried to group these cards together, kind of like how they fell, because I felt like they fell in specific ways for a reason. But we have voice, warrior. And let's actually just move these over. That way you can see them a little better. So voice, warrior, and guided. Alright, and then for your mental, we have King of Cups with an underlying energy of the High Priestess. So we'll put these here for mental. Actually, hopefully you guys can see this. And then we have safe, pleasure, fear, and express. Okay. So what I want to say, I feel like, okay, first disclaimer, 18 plus. Not because we're talking about something crazy, but it relates to sex. So I need to put the disclaimer 18 plus, okay? So I'm gonna give y'all a second to leave. Okay, all right. Hi, my 18 plus. Um, I feel like this reading is dealing with sexual expression for you guys. Um, I feel like this reading is dealing with a potential like friends with benefits situation. Um, and I think that there's something here with the Nine of Cups here gives me like options. But this fish, every time I see this fish when I use this deck, I feel like an energy of like not being seen. And I think the manifest card here also speaks to that as well. Um, Something needing to be manifested, something needing to feel safe to be voiced. Um, yeah, like mentally it's like you may not feel safe to express something, but there's a need though to like express something in regards to like pleasure, right? So maybe this isn't sex, maybe this is hobbies, maybe this is self-care, maybe this is sex. um but I feel like are you guys dealing with a friends with benefits, or considering doing friends with benefits? That way you have an opportunity to express some of what you're wanting to express, to experience some of what you're wanting to experience, to experiment in a certain way. Because I definitely feel like that's what I'm picking up here. But the express and fear card fell together. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a desire here to express something, um, but also just like some hesitance. So I want to figure out what's the hesitance. Like, is it the person we're dealing with? If there's a person that you have in mind, if you're already dealing with someone, is it like a internal thing that we're working on or dealing with? I want one card to come out at a time. Um, that way the message is like really clear. So although these cards are gonna keep coming out, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient just for y'all, because I want the clear message. Okay. Realize your light. You have to be healed to attract healed. You are a divine being having a human experience. I'll just leave that there. Okay. Oh my goodness. So many cards come out. Okay. Magical mindset. Everything is divine. Know that you are the creator of your reality. Co-manifest with the universe. What do you want to express? There's something you want to express, and I want more information for you guys. I want more information for what is this quote unquote magical thing that we're trying to experience. Okay, okay, before we even keep like pulling clarifying cards, the high priestess, right? This is oh boy, which deck is it that I use? There's a deck that I use where the high priestess is sitting on a throne with a laptop, right? Gives very much vibes of like there's something on this computer you cannot quite see. So it's very like there's something within you that you are aware of, you have become aware of, or becoming aware of, and you really want to express and experience that thing. The high priestess can also talk about things that are, I want to say, it's not it's not taboo, right? Um, but like, okay, this is what I want to say about it. It's not taboo to you, right? But maybe someone outwardly would think so. That's the thought that comes to mind. Emphasis, though, that it's not taboo to you, right? So, whatever this is that you want to express sexually, non sexually, this is you, right? That's your field, that's your likes, that's cool, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So, but the King of Cups comes in to say that you're really wanting someone that, oh my gosh, and okay, all right, it's clicking for me, guys. It's clicking because we have safe and pleasure here. So, King of Cups is someone who is emotionally safe to experience this with. This is someone that you know you're not going to be judged by. They're not going to take advantage of you. They're not going to mistreat you. So, okay, so for you guys, because this is the general reading, um, is this someone that you already know? If not, this is you saying that this is the type of person that you're looking for so that you can explore your sexuality. Because, again, there is some fear here about expressing this, about like doing certain things. Maybe, like, okay, for example, maybe you're into like um, things that are considered like more kinky, or maybe you're into BDSM, or maybe you're into bondage, or like you have like specific fetishes that you really want to act out with a partner, or maybe there's like specific play, like sexual play that you want to do with a partner. And you haven't had the opportunity to do that before, or maybe for some of you guys, the fear is here because you've tried to do this with someone else and they've been judgmental, and so you're kind of nervous now to like voice it, but at the same time you're like, look, it feels like time, like, like the wand here, like can my fairy godmother kind of come in and like grant my wish, because it's time. It's about time that we got to experience whatever this thing is, right? So, I think keeping in mind that I think honestly the simple fact that you have your mental safety, emotional safety, physical safety in mind at all, um, while also thinking about like what you want to experience pleasurably is great. Um, I think, yeah, that honestly, like as long as you keep that in mind, um, I think you'll be fine. We do have some cards here that are oracle for you. Let me pull them out really quickly. These ones here. Okay, so we have benefits and messages for this one and this one. All right, so with the messages, yeah, like someone, like this may be someone that you're already talking to or someone that you're considering reaching out to. With the benefits, that really just reminds me of like the friends with benefits feeling. Like, is this a friends with benefits? Is it yeah, like this doesn't have to be for everyone, but I definitely get the sense that this may be a friends with benefits type of situation. Um, and we have here for your chakra cards. I like to put these cards because I like the messages sometimes, or just like the words we get. So although these deal with chakra cards, sorry I hit the camera. Don't feel pressured to do like energy worker stuff if that's not what you guys get into. But I like to add these just in case that's your thing. But also just to get like the extra messages. So we have love, Mother Earth. Love here, maybe this is someone that you are in relationship with, but with the love card here, what I really get is a sense that you want someone who is caring, right? Like, just because you want to, do certain sexual things with someone does not mean that you are disregarding your self respect or anything like that. I think sometimes that is the experience that people have where people assume a certain thing about you because you want to have sex outside of a relationship, or um, you know, or maybe too, just like if we're going along the lines of like an example of like BDSM, there are a lot of people who pretend to be doms where they are really just abusers and users, that type of thing. So I think this card here really reminds me of wanting to take care of yourself in the process of whatever this is. So yeah, so let's read Mother Earth for this card here and see what message that is. All right, so let me find the book. Book is right here, and it's number 1, so it'll make it really easy. And then just to mention, this is for the Earth Star Chakra, in case that's anything that is important to you guys. So it says you have attracted this card into your life today to remind you to spend more time in nature. Life these days can be quite fast-paced and busy, which can cause large amounts of stress and challenges. Mother Earth is calling you back to the womb, back to your core and your center. It's now time to reconnect to the flow of nature where everything is in a constant state of harmony and balance. If you have been feeling unsettled or disconnected lately, then it is definitely time to feel the earth under your feet and take some time to stop, breathe, and experience the natural energy from the earth. The earth is a living, breathing being. She is constantly offering an abundance of healing energy for you to connect to at any time. While we exist here on planet Earth, she is our mother, the one that nurtures, feeds, supports, grounds, and protects us at all times. By connecting deeply with her, you will be open to receive her powerful qualities. The earth supports every single step you take in life and is always there to catch you when you fall. You are being encouraged to take a moment in nature and tune into your heartbeat as you feel the love that she has to offer. It is now time to open and receive a blessing from this divine Mother Earth. Allow her energy to fill you up, refresh you, and wash away any fears or stress you have been holding on to at this time. You may have also called this card in today because you are currently working on healing issues you have with your own mother or yourself as a mother. Know that healing is here and it is now time to open your heart and receive the love of the earth. Affirmation: my heart beats as one with the healing vibration of Mother Earth. So for you guys, this card really could be just talking about like, I think the energy of you really taking care of yourself. Like this seems like you value yourself, you care about yourself, you want to make sure that other people respect you, even in the process of your own self discovery, regardless of what area of your life it is that you are discovering or experiencing new things. And I think that when it comes to sex, for some people, depending on, let's do for example, depending on what gender people assume, or what sex people assume, um, you may experience, you know, people expecting you to behave a certain way sexually. And so, you know, maybe wanting to express yourself in a certain way, people will automatically criticize you because, you know, they expect you to fit into this mold, or this mold or expectation of how, you know, for example, women are supposed to act or men are supposed to act, or, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So I think that it's commendable, like commendable, yes, like that you are not letting, you know, people, society deter you from doing what you want to do, but you're also, I think this reading is talking about also still going through the experience of figuring out, how do I go about this then if I live in a society, or exist within a certain peer group, or exist in a time in history where X, Y, and Z is not accepted, but it's something that I desire to do, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting here. Um, let's see. Do we want to give any more of these messages? No. Okay. Yes. Oh my God. I love getting like confirmation for you guys. Can we get one more, please? Please, please, please. For pile 4. Just one. Is it just one? So I'll put these back and just get one. Because I really like you guys' reading. I think I can relate to this. Like, I relate to part of what you guys are kind of experiencing, and I think it's difficult sometimes. Subconscious, sorry. Subconscious mind. Recondition your subconscious mind to change your life. Subliminals rewrite belief system. Yeah, so definitely like there are people who have certain beliefs again, like about what you should or shouldn't be doing, but at the end of the day, you decide that thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. I don't want to say it's not that people have been brainwashed, but I think a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that social conditioning is a thing that exists. It's not positive or negative. It just is what it is, right? So, depending on what society we grew up in, what community we grew up in, the peer groups we grew up in, the family we grew up in, we were taught certain things. And so those things really do influence what we value or see as right and wrong. And oftentimes people may have a hard time kind of stepping out of that space to allow others to live in their truth of what they see as right and wrong, whether that is what they were brought up on or something they took in for a value of theirs outside of their upbringing, whatever that is. But I think for you guys, there's really maybe for some of you guys a need to like rewrite what you've been told. Maybe what you've been told stands against what is true to you now, or maybe just needing to ignore what other people say is right for you or wrong for you, and just going for what those things actually are for you. um yeah. Yeah, you guys, this says here being, you are a divine being having a human experience. Damn right. So true. You are great just as you are. Like, do you and have fun doing it. Like, there's a quote I want to mention that, there was a video I was watching. I think someone left in the comment section. It said, don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. I will leave you with that one, okay? And then let's see. You are the creator of your reality. That is true. And that stands true for what you guys are doing here. Like, we're disregarding what people say we should and shouldn't be doing, and we're just doing us. Period. Like, people can cry about it, whine about it, but you don't live my life. Um you don't wake up in this body. You don't go to sleep in this body. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay. Career message. Fork in the road. Another group actually had this card as well. Fork in the road. If we're thinking about career, this may be that you guys, because you're stepping into this energy in the month of February where you're really saying, what is it that you want? What is it that you like? What is it that you value? What is it that you enjoy, click with? This may be then applying to your careers in the sense of, are you in a field that you like? Are you in a field just because your parents expected it of you, but you don't actually enjoy it? Do you just want to change careers because you want to switch it up? And, maybe people are saying, well, like, that's not a good enough reason to change your career, but it is a good enough reason. If you think you want to change your career, that's a reason enough. But fork in the road for career really just talks about, like, there's a change that you want to make, or you're just considering a change. Maybe you don't actually want to make the change, but you want to take the time to consider the change. Okay. Anything else for pile 4? No? Anything? I loved you guys' reading, so I'm like lingering, hoping they're like, yes, another card. We want to say more. But this is all for pile four. Thank you for letting me like share this message with you guys today. I really enjoyed your energy. Something about you guys is very, how can I explain it? Like, you guys strike me as people who, like, I don't know, something about you is like, I don't, excuse my language, but like, I don't give a fuck what they think. This is what I want to do, so I'm gonna do it. That's I kind of get that feeling from you guys. I really like it. It's really refreshing. Because it's not always easy to do that for some people. Yeah, I really like you guys' energy. I'm like fangirling over you guys. So yeah, this is all I have for you guys. File forward. Thank you for being here. I hope that you found this message to be confirming of what you've been experiencing. I hope that you got some information that helps you move forward in whatever challenges that you may be facing. And as always, I enjoyed spending this time with you guys. So thank you again, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 4.